You know, we're on the
Now, folks, we have. All right, Claire, I found the record button. It's all right, Grant. I got it. Okay.
About fucking time.
Oh, God. Jesus. Fucking hell, we're fucking seconds into the fucking
You
show.
And nothing else, Peter.
First time. Well done, Peter.
Thanks.
Peter.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
Anyway.
And else the first time, Peter.
Sorry, what was that? Say that again, Pete. Missed that?
You got to find anything else the first time around. Are you still looking for something?
I'm still looking for stuff. Still looking for stuff, Pete. Yes. Always. I'm always searching. I still haven't found what I'm looking for, as the great Bono said.
Oh, God. Going to start reciting lyrics next.
Anyway, folks.
Bono shortly now.
There you go. Well, I do have an awful lot of time for you two. So there you go. And I met them all on different occasions over the years. So anyway, there you go. Because I used to be famous.
Infamous, Peter. Infamous is different from famous. Infamous, not famous.
Anyway, folks. Excuse me. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to our weekly Irish Rugby Banter Chat. With me is, as I look at the screen, I've Danny Brosnan. To my left here, I've Sarah Duffy is with me, Claire Devney, James Grennan, Richard Holland, and Peter Martin is down there as I'm looking at the screen. So there you go. You are all more than welcome, whatever part of the world you are watching this at, and indeed whatever time you're watching this at. Now, before we get into chatting about rugby, as a group, we would just like to acknowledge and send our condolences to the people of Donegal. A terrible tragedy happened there last lunchtime Friday, where 10 people lost their lives. And it would be remiss of us as a group not to acknowledge that, and indeed send our condolences to all those who are affected, the friends, the families of all the deceased. One girl in particular, if I was young Leona Harper, who was 14 years of age. She's choked up talking about this. She played rugby for Letterkenny RFC. She was one of the 10, and all of us, to Leona's family, and indeed all the other 9, we sleep well, folks, and rest in peace. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Last weekend's games. We had, first up, we had Connacht v Munster. Danny Brosnan, I'm going to go to you first. Actually, no, hold on a sec. Before we do this, James Grennan, remind us of the predictions that we all did last week for the 3 games. We'll go through each game individually, but just remind us who said what last weekend.
Gladly. I'd be very happy to do that. First of all, on the top of my list here was Danny, Munster by 5 and a bonus point win.
You spoke last week, Johnny.
We had Peter Burke, who was absolutely bang on, as it happens. Well, if Carty hadn't missed the 7 points that he left behind. Connacht by 10 to 15. So if Carty had nudged those few slots over. Sarah was Connacht by 3. Claire Connacht by 5, and Peter Connacht by 5. And that was it. And
James, what did you predict? What did you predict?
A Connacht win, of course. Of course, a Connacht win.
Wait.
bonus point, but we didn't quite get that. But did you hear about Danny? Did you hear about the dung beetle that walked into the Munster dressing room and he says, "Is this stool taken?" Munster were shite.
Right, okay. Now, okay, so they were last.
Beautifully handled, James. Beautifully handled.
I love it. Okay, so they were their predictions. So Danny Brosnan, coming to you first. Connacht v Munster, Connacht winning that 20 points to 11. Munster were actually ahead at half-time, leading 8-5. What did you make of that game, Danny?
I saw most of the second half, and I'll be honest with you, judging on the previous few weeks things, it's once half time comes, we seem to turn into a different team. We seem to lack that cutting edge going in attack. Previous few weeks, I thought But I thought we might have enough to edge Connacht. I thought we'd have, don't do what we did against Every. We might be able to gain a few extra few points, or at least close the game out. But the home advantage brought it for Connacht. They managed to push it forward, managed to take the points late on the game, and unfortunately, we just weren't up to scratch for it. So to be honest with you, I can't complain about that loss. Carthy missing a few kicks. I think I kept us in the game until Fitzgerald took over, but few players just didn't perform, either individually or as a whole. Carberry at 15, I think, was a bad call. I think someone else probably might have done better there in that situation. But if a few players
fucking Ellen would have done better at 15.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Burke, you'd have done better at 15, I'd say, if you're wearing that Munster jersey.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but to be honest with you, it's like I was saying previous weeks, it's just a matter, it's just everything's just falling into place as it should be. It's going to take time, but I'd rather have the bad results now, so I can complain. Can't we're the better team. They deserved it.
Talk about a fucking convoluted way of saying you are fucking shit. Sarah Duffy.
A lot of the commentators and the spectators were kind of saying that Connacht were terrible. I'd actually disagree. You know, I watched this and, you know, from years from now, like they played Munster and it's led to kind of ugly spectacles, really. But I think it's down to that Munster and Connacht have hopefully learned from previous failings as teams, you know, and on the night, for Connacht, it was all three: the players, the organisation, the club, the fans, and, you know, even the coaches. And I thought it was a good way to kick off, you know, their 4G pitch. I was surprised at the way Munster were slowing down on the ball a lot. You know, they were kind of flopping on top of the ball a lot, and nobody really stood out for me. But it wasn't a great performance for Munster, really wasn't. They need to kind of bring a bit more speed and agility to the ball. But I think it's very hard to pull the goods out of these two teams.
I think we touched on that last week, Sarah, as well.
I know, but I wouldn't say they were shite. Like, I just think Munster kind of need to be more aggressive, more accurate, less handling errors and stuff like that. And I think they will do it. You know, Roundtree did say from the offset that it would take time for the changes to come, and it will take time to correct them.
Yeah.
So they were paired up quite well, and Connacht did the job on them in the end because they wanted a little bit more. But I think Munster have it in the tank. But when they come up against Leinster, it'll be slim, very, very slim to put in the performance that they wanted. Probably not making much sense. I'm off my head on penicillin.
Brilliant.
You know Claire, what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Claire Debney, Connacht v Munster. Did you see the game? How did you make it?
Yeah, I kept falling asleep watching it. Sorry. But I just have a point. For the last 3 games with Munster, they have played 120 minutes of rugby in the last 3 second halves of the last 3 rounds. They've scored 3 points. They've scored 3 points in 120 minutes of rugby. Oh, even my team score more than that. Like they play the last 3 matches in their second halves. The first 2 were 0-0, and Ben Healy got penalty at 46 or 47 in that match. That was it.
Yeah.
So, okay, we know it's going to take time, but
how much time?
How much time are you going to give, especially considering they're coming up to the Aviva in Saturday, a week and a half.
Yeah, happy ticket.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was good for making me fall asleep. I kept dozing off watching.
Did you, Claire? Was it just 2 brutal performances in your view, or what was it?
Yeah, they were both just very. It was. I don't know. The best thing about it was someone throwing a dig. which it shouldn't be about rugby.
Yeah.
Jack Carty was just, I don't know where his kicking tee was. I don't know where his kick was. His kicks were. He was nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Well,
as I don't know who, I think it was yourself pointed it out, or Sarah, someone pointed out, there's a reason why Joey hadn't played a 15 in over 4 years, and it showed on last Friday as to why he's not a 15.
Okay.
yeah, fair enough. Okay, thanks, Claire. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Danny. James, what did you make of the game?
Yeah, it just reminded me there when Claire was talking about, and Danny asked me about my prediction last week. I said Munster were going to go 3 for 3, no score in the second half, and I was damn close to being right on that one. Could have been worse for Munster as well, because there was 7 points left behind, two conversions missed and a penalty. Well, hit the post on 2 kicks and just marginally wide on the third one. Thankfully, Jack was smart enough to hand over the kicking duties to Connor Fitz. We definitely came back into it when he took over the kicking duties, and also he had an absolute beauty of a kick down to get into touch in the corner there. Just put Munster on the back foot when, like, it really put the foot on the throats. The headlines I saw directly after the game: Munster overcome a woeful, or Connacht overcome a woeful Munster, and that speaks volumes. But yeah, Connacht did what they had to do. They went in at half time. They were 3 points down at half time going in, but they came out, all guns ablaze in the second half, and Munster just didn't know how to react to it, didn't know how to answer it, and Connacht did what they had to do to win it. They win ugly. I'll take it all day long.
And you were as pissed as a fucking fart for a day or two.
I was.
You were.
I only got my voice back this morning as well. I was roaring.
Good man.
Oh, the other thing, we were. You probably heard the Fields of Athenry got a good run out as well, and then at one stage, some of the boys around me started singing "You're So Vain." You probably think this song is about you. I don't know if it made that onto the telly, but
I actually think I saw you, James, in the crowd.
Did you?
I think the camera at the very end of the game when the players were going off the pitch, I think I saw you. The camera panned and it says, there's James. Yeah. Anyway, okay, Richard Holland.
Oh, where do I start? Munster have regressed in the last 3 games, and I know that, yes, there's a lot of new style there, and I think it will eventually come, but I've never seen a Munster pack bullied that way. It was the only really good play that they had, and it was good, was the try that they got in the corner. That was about the only highlight of the game. I think Carberry fell off a tackle for the first Connacht try, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Which
Mac made him look like an idiot. Yeah, and
there's no way he should have had him. He had a step on him, and he was on the right shoulder. And so it was just it was an awful game. Look, there are green shoots there. We are blooding young players, and it's good to see. So that's about the only highlight that came out of that game for me, from a Munster point of view.
Richard, we've asked you, we've missed you the past 2 weeks, and we've had this discussion. We've asked Danny, what do you think the issues are at the moment?
At the moment, I think it's a transition.
Okay.
They've played, what was Van Grand there for 4.5 years?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah, and they've played, and I said it before, that they didn't have the players to play that big, physical South African game. They never had the players, and it was never a runner for me. But now they are trying to transition to a different style of play, and you did see flashes of it, in particular, Healy trying to keep the ball alive in the contact, which is something new. Whether it's going to work or not is another thing. Do we have the players to do it?
No.
Is another question. In particular in the backs. Forwards, you're always going to have that little bit of grit. We are very light up front, in particular in props. I think that's going to be an issue for us as well. How the season is going to go, and so far it's we're going to struggle to make Europe, I think.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Peter Martin, Connacht v Munster.
I only caught the last 20 minutes, and those 20 minutes I wish I could get back somehow. One thing that struck me from when I saw the both teams selected was Connacht's pack on paper was a lot smaller than Munster's, and yet no, they kicked the shit out of the Munster pack. The second thing you've already touched on was Carberry at fullback. Like, what the absolute fuck? But now, granted, there is injury issues with players away with the likes of Shane Daly away with Emerging Ireland. So look, square pegs and round holes. Carberry will never play 15 again. Shouldn't.
Definitely not.
But like that, you know, I saw Dave Heffernan had an article in the paper or online there that Senecal, the forwards, the Connacht forwards coach, had a pop at the players, saying they're being too nice. So that's, I suppose, that fueled a bit of pride, bit of hurt there from within. Never mind without. Outside the camp, fueled that performance. Heffernan was decent against Munster. I've struggled to see at times how he is Connacht's best hooker, but he was good on Friday night last. He did his bit of the set piece and so on. Look, it was a win for Connacht. They got it. They huffed and puffed and got over the line. I think Friend didn't dress it up. He said we got the win basically. Yeah, Roundtree is an awful lot to deal with. I think they're pretty much close to rock bottom. Munster are at this stage. Look, it's just going to be an endurance test for fans of Munster, basically taking it in the neck from opposition fans. But look, that's just the way the game is. And I suppose, alluding to what Richard said about being light up front, I think there might be one small positive thing that might have come out of Wasps going into administration is John Ryan is free again. If they've any fucking brains below and that, they'll say, right, John, there's a number 3, there's a jersey here with your number on the back of it. Get back here quick. He'll make a difference to their pack. Look, there's nothing else to say about that game.
Okay. Thanks, Pete. Okay, the next game, James Grennan, I'll go to you first on this. The next game, Leinster v Sharks. Leinster winning that by 20 points, 54-34, albeit there was a 1 point gap on half time. It was 21-20 to Leinster at half time. Did you see the game, James?
I did. I saw a good chunk of it. All right, yeah. Very impressed with how Sharks brought the game to Leinster. They didn't take a backward step there. They were well in it right up to the last 20 minutes. But yeah, Leinster did what Leinster do and closed it out. Yeah, I thought the Sharks were good. They were well worth it.
You just can't praise Leinster, can you? It's just not in you just to say Leinster outclassed the Sharks. You just can't do it, can you?
No, look, the Sharks were marked as underdogs, but I didn't think they deserved the tag the way they played. But yeah, Leinster were brilliant. They were fantastic. They won the game and they won it well in the end. They ran the big boys around the field and they won it in the last 20 minutes.
Fair enough. Okay, Richard Holland.
Game of the weekend for me. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was an absolutely pulsating game, literally end to end. It was a brilliant game. Sexton was his usual very self, it's fair to say. But that being said, it's what you need in a captain a lot of the time. You need to be a bit of a bastard, to be quite honest.
He'd make 2 of them if they were scarce.
Obviously, the Leinster picked up a lot of injuries in that game, and it was good to see that they were able to adapt. Who went off?
Baird.
Ruddock.
Ruddock and
Larmer.
Yeah.
Larmer's it's 6 to 8 weeks from what I'm hearing on the radio, actually, isn't it? Yeah, which is unfortunate for him. He was probably knocking on the door for the test for the Irish November series. But look, it was a great game. It was it was end-to-end action for most of the game, and it was the game of the weekend for me.
Okay.
Was Ringrose or some replacement to bring on, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did up you too, huh?
Great game.
Tell you
Great
what,
game.
so obviously on to pitch for 60 minutes, he gets man of the match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60 minutes, Peter,
Yeah.
not 20 as your first.
I
goal.
know, right, okay, thanks. Well, go on, okay, Claire, we were at the game. What did you make of Leinster v Sharks?
It was a great game, but RDS need to sort out their speakers.
Yeah, I know you kept fucking banging on about that. I can't fucking hear that over there. I can't fucking hear that. All right, Claire, just shut up. Just watch the game, will you?
Yeah, no, but you were meant to be giving me commentary and you went,
Get the fucking
yeah, no,
spice
it's a
bag
great
into you.
I know, converted you to a spice bag.
You did.
Converted,
You did.
told you, it's nice.
You did.
Um,
But go on, the
anyway,
Leinster
back to the
performance
rugby.
beat the Sharks.
That's a very good game of rugby. I will say I did if I predicted I couldn't call it last week because I didn't think. I think you were the same, Peter. It was a very, very, very good game of rugby. They put it up to us for the first 60 minutes. Everything we done, they came knocking back. Johnny being called a petulant little child, that's kind of what we need. When Johnny's not on the pitch doing that, we kind of, as we seen last year in the semi-final, when he changed the game when he come on after 60 minutes in the semi-final last year. That's why I had him on from the start in this game, so that they didn't get away. Yeah, it was a great game with great company, obviously, Peter.
There you go. Absolutely. And reciprocated. Absolutely. Sarah Duffy, Leinster v Sharks.
Yeah, I thought this was a great game. There was great skills on display, and I mean the tries, 13 tries. The only thing I was reading a lot about was the concerns about the decline in discipline, particularly towards the respect for the ref and all. I thought the ref was awful.
Not the only one.
You know, but I think the Sharks came into the game and they attacked well, and they took Leinster around the fringes a good bit, and they have a good balance in a good bit of power in the middle. But I think his name is it Fassi? Maybe I have that wrong. Fassi. He's fairly quick.
The centre or the winger?
The centre is Abrahams.
I know.
One of them had great speed for his try.
That was Abrams.
And I think those two lads are definitely constant threats. I tell you, I would be glad. I'm looking forward to seeing the two sides coming head to head when they come back to Dublin, if they come back to Dublin and they have their Springboks internationals with them. That's what they were lacking. But I don't think the thing about Sexton, he can be mouthy, but I think he can justify losing it a little bit because that ref was awful all game. The ref missed that high tackle.
There was two head contacts from the same player within a minute.
Yeah,
and either would have been a red card, and Johnny lost his shit over that, and rightly so.
And refusing to check it, James.
Yeah, and the crowd
either one.
The crowd went fucking bananas when that happened because we could see it. It wasn't too far away from us, Claire, on the pitch, if you remember. Yeah. And they showed us, and the fucking crowd went bananas with that.
I think
rightly so.
Like Adams has a like I think Johnny. Sorry to jump in, but Johnny Collins had an article out on RTE Rugby. He's former Munster out half, and he's attack coach for Cork Con, and I think he absolutely nailed it. He said, people were giving out about Johnny being a contrary fucker and all this, and he showed no disrespect to the referee. At the end of the day, Johnny Holland kind of said that Craig Adams has this attitude when he's on the pitch saying, I'm in charge. When I speak, you listen. And that's the end of it. That's not the way it should work. Sexton's 37 years of age. He's got the amount of caps he has. He's entitled to have a conversation and be given 10, 15 seconds to make his peace to the referee. He didn't do that. I said it beforehand that he's an absolute ponce of a referee. He's more interested in how he looks on the pitch than he is in refereeing the fucking game. And that he's done nothing to change my opinion of him.
Yeah, I tell you, Pete, I totally agree with you. As I do most weeks. Sorry, go on, Claire. Go on, yeah.
What he said there about he cares more about how he looks. Yeah, I met him before the game. Oh my God, the man has gone. Must be his teeth are just sparkly white, not like I think he's gone to Turkey for his teeth. And I made a comment when I said to someone, it's like he has full veneers on it. Sorry.
He has an OnlyFans account for his teeth.
Yeah, he looks like a Ken doll when you're up close with the stuff. Just an observation when I was talking to him.
Right.
Hey,
Okay.
but-
Danny Brosnan, I'm coming to you.
No,
For fuck's sake,
I'm
you.
still speaking.
Shut the fuck up.
There, she said it. She said it.
Sorry, Sarah. What?
There, yeah.
Shut up! I'm still speaking. You asked me to speak, and I want to finish what I said. Bad enough Peter Martin crossing over me without you doing it as well.
I'm going for a fucking piss. I'm going for a fucking piss. Fuck.
Take your time. Make sure you wash your hands.
Off as well.
No, I just thought like if he hadn't been like maybe he was a little bit over aggressive, but if he had have nodded along and said yes sir, no sir, oh sorry ref, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. He's not done his job as the captain of the team either.
That's
So,
the thing.
you know, the ref is there for the health and safety of the players, regardless of what level or age the rugby is at. And that ref wasn't there for health and safety. He was there. If he had a second set of lips, he would have kissed himself. You know, the player, you know, when I seen Bard going down, I thought, oh my Jesus, I think I said it on the page, head, neck, that looked awful. And it wasn't, I just think, yeah, he was right to be mouthy. And I'm 110% behind the captain of the team. He knows what's best for his players. And as Peter already said, he's enough caps and knowledge and experience. He did what was best for his players.
It's
But
a little
that
bit.
ref rots me.
It's a couple of years ago now. Was Rory Best? I think it was in an Ireland game, and the
That's
ref. Well, I have a duty of care to my players,
Yeah.
and that's exactly the same line that Sexton was taking, albeit maybe more abrasive. But
Yeah.
that's the line that he took, and that was the correct line to me.
Yeah, 100%. Go
But
on,
he
Peter, there.
No, I was going to say, thanks, Sarah. I was going to say, Sexton got some slagging from the I saw a few of the comments on the South African fan pages. They were all slating him and going, he should have been yellow carded for giving out to the ref and blah, blah, blah. But I just think we've all busted that argument wide open. Danny Brosnan.
Fans always give out.
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah. Well, you
Doesn't matter,
saw
like, yeah.
you saw the post I put up about the South African fans. Anyway, Danny Brosnan.
Probably the best game of the weekend I saw. Anyway, I saw about 60 minutes of it. Anyway, I didn't. Was there a red card at the end of the game? Or
There was,
towards the end of the game?
Yeah.
It was a high hit on Rossburn.
Yeah, didn't see that one anyway, so can't comment on that.
That was a straight red, no question, Danny.
Yeah. The Braid incident. I think Johnny was right to go up to the referee and question why he wasn't looked at. But I said earlier on in the group as well, maybe just the way he came about it, about checking it up and getting it done. But I think the referee let himself down by not having at least one review of it, see what happened. Because when I saw it first, it looked like the three guys were ball watching, came in, I thought, look, there's not nice. When I looked at it again, I said, yeah, if I was refereeing on that pitch, I'd have probably double checked out and maybe counted Sharks player right, yellow at least anyway, for maybe not not be more aware of his surroundings. And I know it can happen when you're ball watching. You don't really look at what's really happening around you. But yeah, from what 60 odd minutes I saw of it, I thought Leinster were constantly pushing Sharks a bit better, and at the end they had one. I think once they had the bonus point, I said just a matter of time before Leinster saw it out. So they deserved it, and I think the second effect, pushing the players on has shown that he can still do it at his age, at that level. So
okay, good stuff. The final game, Peter Martin, I'll come to you first. Ulster against the Ospreys. Final score: Ulster 47, Ospreys 17. It was 18-point gain for Ulster at half time. They led at 28-10. Jesus, Ospreys are fucking shit. What you make of it if you saw it?
I didn't see it.
So that's it. Like that's yeah. All right, fair enough. Richard Holland.
Fuck the regions in general again are shit this year. But they were never a challenge. They were never a challenge to to Ulster. I'd actually go so far that the regions are that bad that Benetton are going to finish above at least 3 of the regions in the final table.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe we could send them to the Premiership.
Jesus Christ. Richard, are you still there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Plenty of space there. So, yeah, look, it was a run in the mill for Ulster. It was never in doubt from the very start. So, yeah, the Welsh are shite.
Took the words right out of my mouth. James Grannon.
Yeah, so saw most of that game as well. Yeah, Ulster were businesslike. Ospreys were rubbish. They put up no fight at all. They were lucky to get the scores they got, I thought. But Ulster had it well in hand. Half time the game, they had the game won at half time. And yeah, they were outstanding. I'd hate to see I'd hate to see what Leinster are going to do to Ospreys, seeing as what Leinster did to Ulster the week before.
Okay. Excuse me. Sarah Duffy, if you saw the game, Ulster v Ospreys, or if you didn't see it, any comments?
Yeah, no, I seen the highlights of it.
Right.
It looks like Luke Marshall is back to his best, really.
Man of the match.
Yeah, he seems to be one of Ireland's more skillful centres. I'm not sure how Hume is going to get back in the way Luke Marshall is playing. The Lowry was quite good, if I remember rightly. How has he only got 1 or 2 caps though?
I think.
He might do, yeah.
Yeah,
but he scored 2 tries. Like, what's going on there?
Mike Lowry, but where is he playing in the national squad?
Definitely have him ahead of.
Go at 15.
Yeah.
But is he ahead of Keenan?
No.
Would you put him ahead of Hugo Keenan?
No.
He's a good backup, but that's it at the moment.
And is Addison is still not fit to return? They were missing him, weren't they?
Yeah.
He got injured last season. I think it was a knee or leg injury, and he's been out since.
Like that, yeah.
Bad run luck with injuries.
There's another. Would you put him in the full back position? And I didn't really see much of the match, but you know, Lowry. If Lowry used to get back in, he obviously needs more international experience and stuff like that. But other than that, Ulster had the beatings of them straight away. They were hungrier. They wanted it more. Going by the highlights, I didn't see the full match. But what did they score? 7 tries in the end. You know, that's a team to watch.
Okay. Claire.
No, didn't see it. I was on my way home from the RDS.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I caught the end of it. Danny Brosnan.
Yeah, sadly, I live slightly further away than you do.
There you go.
I saw good chunks of that game, and Ulster were set out blocks. They were attacking left, right, and centre. The scrum was good and solid. The line-out work was good. I think they had 1 try disallowed at one stage. I can't remember why. I think they once had the 4th try in second half. It was game over. But Ospreys, they were decent-ish in defence at times. They showed some good promise in defence. But when it came to having the ball, they're a bit like Munster and Connacht at the moment at times. In the first 3 games at least anyway. They just didn't seem to have that cutting edge to them. They couldn't seem to, they're pounding away, but they couldn't find the hole to get into or anything like that. So they just couldn't keep it up long enough to find us. So that's the biggest problem that Ospreys had offensively when that was going on. But no, Ulster deserved that one.
You're not speaking from experience, are you, Danny?
I hate that when you're pounding away and can't find the hole.
Yes. From a rugby
point of view.
From a rugby point of view, yes. I am speaking from experience.
Said rookie.
What the fuck are you
Take that old joke. How do you know you're in love?
When she taps on the back.
In love.
That made me go, oh God. Sorry.
Anyway, right. Enough of the innuendos, which are a common staple of these weekly chats. We always get them. It's normally Sarah Duffy who starts off the big filthy.
Yeah,
the big,
I'm drugged up to the eyeballs here tonight.
That's your excuse this week.
That's your excuse. Yeah, there you go. Right now, that's the games. Excuse me. Looking forward to the games coming up at the weekend. James Grennan, I'm going to you first because the first game we have is Connacht v Leinster. Connacht entertaining Leinster in the sports ground. How do you see that going?
I guess we're going to see where we're really at.
Yeah.
We've had the excuses of traveling to South Africa for the first couple of games. We had very poor opposition last week. So we're going to have some decent opposition on Friday night. So I guess we'll have a good measure of where we are.
Well,
So
many
I'm
prayers
looking
you're going to
forward
have
the game.
said.
There'll be novenas and Child of Pragues and
Yeah.
all the rest of it as well.
Exactly.
I'll be at that game. My daughter is coming with me to that one.
Very good.
She's never been to the sports ground where Connacht have lost a game, so she's hoping to maintain that record this weekend as well. So
okay,
fingers
so
crossed.
Okay, I'm going to push you on this because we did it last week for the predictions. If you are going to call it, who's winning this, Connacht or Leinster, and score points difference?
I have 2 question marks down beside yourself and Claire Devaney from last week when you were pushed on a thing. So
Damn it!
yeah, you
All
put me
right,
down for question mark.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Peter Martin, Connacht v Leinster.
Yeah, I think Connacht are going to get well. Not that they needed a reality check, but I think it'll be business as usual. It'll be. I would suspect it's going to be and James has just fucked off. He doesn't want to hear what I'm going to say.
Sorry.
I
think what we're going to see. I would expect Leinster by about maybe 15 points. Leinster are going to be down a number of players because of last week's match. Never mind, Johnny Sexton probably won't be playing anyway, or the usual contingent will be back in cotton wool until November. But I would expect that Leinster will still put out a bit of a side that will still manage to do. It'll be hard fought, I would suspect, but 10-15 point win.
Okay. Excuse me, Richard Holland.
Yeah, exactly what Peter said. 10 to 15 points, and the only caveat on that would be the injuries and how they fill out their team again. Place to play.
Okay.
But a 10 or 15 point win to Leinster.
Okay. Claire Devaney.
Leinster by 12.
Okay. Sarah Duffy.
Leinster by 15.
Okay. Johnny Rosen.
The bonus point win for Leinster because they're not facing any real tough opposition now here in the sports ground. Fair sir, no, James. Fair sir. But
Okay.
How better Ulster, though?
but
Right.
no, I think it's just a matter of time before Leinster get that bonus point. They'll probably have it either just before halftime or just after. But yeah, I can't see Connacht this would win this one. There's just too much of a golfing difference at the moment. So I think the players that Leinster are missing, wherever players do come in, they'll want them to be putting their hands up to get to keep their spot in the team as well. So they'll be firing out blocks as well. So
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Next game up, we have Lions v Ulster. Claire Devaney, I'll go to you first on this. Lions v Ulster.
The Lions are going to win that.
Okay. By much?
I reckon
All right. Okay.
about 10. Yeah, they'll win by about 10.
10 points.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Ulster are going to South Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon. I reckon the Lions will win it by 10.
Okay. Sarah Duffy.
I think it's going to be the opposite.
Right.
I think Ulster are going to win, only by margin, 3 to 5 points.
All right.
Might be the drugs talking, but
Probably is. You're fucking smacked off your tits there. Jesus Christ, woman.
Do I really look that much? Oh, fuck.
There, the drugs don't work. They just make you worse.
My
Winding you up.
drugs work. I'm telling you, the
Wind
drugs
up.
I
Okay,
take
Richard
work.
Ashcroft.
There you go. James Grennan, Lions v Ulster.
I think this could be very, very, very tight, given that Ulster are travelling. I'm going to call it a draw.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Richard Holland.
Given that Lions are probably the weakest of the South African teams, I think Ulster might just shade it by 6 points.
Okay. Fair enough. Peter Martin.
I will go with Ulster by 3 points. I think Ulster have had enough heartache in South Africa where they've come so close last season on several occasions. I think they'll pop their cherry this time against South African opposition and take the spoils.
Okay. Danny Brosnan.
Considering the way Ulster are playing at the moment and their hiccup against Leinster about 2 weeks ago, I think they've got the push they've needed to get to the next level. And I'm actually going to give them, they'll beat the Lions, but not much. 3-4 points, maybe, that's it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. The final game on next weekend.
Ian, what do you call for? What do you say here?
I think the Lions will win it.
Okay.
I think Leinster will fucking hammer Connacht, and I think Lions will beat Ulster. There you go. Anyway, moving swiftly along to the last game that's on. Munster versus the Bulls. Danny Brosnan, to you first. Munster v the Bulls. Munster at home.
Yeah. This could be the match we kind of need to get going in the right direction. Because
Where? Home?
no, Thomond Park can be has a reputation of being a tough environment to go to.
Do you need a hug, Danny?
Huh?
Do you need a hug?
I think Richard needs one too.
I'm fine. But no, I think Thomond Park and the crowd there, the atmosphere there, I think we'll edge it 2 points maybe, but I think we'll just about edge it against the Bulls. Because I think that home advantage is going to count. I think it'll push on just to kind of perform that bit better. So I give it a Munster win.
All right, okay. Munster win for Danny. Hold on 1 second now. Great job. Sarah Duffy.
I can actually see Munster winning this game.
Yeah.
The Bulls are not on fire. They weren't on fire at the weekend.
Definitely.
And they are at a disadvantage because it's at home for Munster. And I think Danny's right. I think they need the kick in the hole now to do the job on some team. But I think Roundtree will probably be forced to use some of the academy or emerging Ireland players this weekend. You know, have they a couple of injuries, Munster, at the moment? So
Yeah.
sure, why not? Fresh legs. And I think Munster will beat them.
Sarah, let me ask you
Ask me.
if thanks very much. If Munster lose this game, but I don't like if they lose this game. I mean, that's fucking shocking. You know, it's a shit start.
I think I'm going to stick to the same thing I said about the last game. Like Roundtree did say, it's very hard to you have to get them on the offset, and he is trying. I give him that. You know, Richard mentioned that there's a lot of young, fresh legs coming through there as well, and it's all down to experience. I don't think they're not the worst. They're not the worst in it. We'll defend them that way. You got to give them. I know you keep saying they're shite.
At the moment they are.
Yeah, but it's early doors. It's early season.
All right, but how fucking much time do you want?
Do you not
on
remember
way
when
too much
Leinster
medication.
Hold on, here's Claire. Oh,
Way
jeez.
too fucking nice.
Here's Claire. Go on, Claire. Go on.
Do you not remember when Leinster used to be shy?
No. Anyway, on to James Grennan.
2016, Claire.
Trying to be
No,
nice.
no, Claire. Go on. Munster v Bulls.
I think the Bulls are just going to edge it by about 3.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I think. Yeah.
You're saying the Bulls by 3.
Yeah.
All right, James Grennan.
So we always reckon that home advantage is worth 5. So
Yeah.
Bulls by 15. So
like it. Okay, Richard Holland.
Thanks, Lynn.
There's two things I want to see out of this game. I want to see a performance above all else, leaving the result aside. And I'd like to see two players in particular, Ahern and Crowley, get a run. That's really what I want to see, a reaction from Munster, irrespective of the result. That's really what I want to see. Whether we get that is another matter entirely, but it's Thomond Park, it's a Saturday night, so hopefully we will.
So if Munster were fucking slaughtered by 20 points, but Crowley and
Ahern.
Ahern had a good game, you'd be happy?
No, I want to see a reaction from the team as well.
Okay, fair enough. Peter Martin, Munster v Bulls.
Yeah, just echoing a bit of what Richard said, there needs to be a response, a reaction. Going on what we saw last weekend in the sports ground, I think there could be another bit of a shit show, horror show from Munster, but and I think it'll be this weekend. But in saying that, I think depending on who gets selected, I think there'll be green shoots there. There'll be a few nice passages of play, but it won't be all put together.
Where are the green shoots? Green shoots where?
In Thomond Park.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ, yeah. Grant.
In Thomond Park.
Yeah.
There's grass, and there is grass in the pitch, Peter, like, you know.
Fair enough. Okay. Hold on a second. So Connacht Leinster, we've done that. Lions, Ulster, we've done that. Munster Bulls, we've done that. Okay. Peter Martin, what time are we at?
49 minutes.
All right, so we got another 5-6 minutes. Okay.
Peter,
okay.
what do you think? What way do you think it'll go?
Munster Bulls?
Yeah.
I think Bulls will beat them.
You think Bulls will beat them?
Yeah, I do. I think Bulls will beat them by between 5 and 10 points. Going on current form and the way Munster are playing and the way the Bulls are playing, I think the Bulls will beat them.
Yeah.
And the other year, I'd say Munster might do it, but the way they're going, I mean, as Danny has said, Claire has said it, Sarah has said it, James has said it, Peter has said it, we've all said it over the past couple of weeks. It's going to take time for this whole transition period to kick in, for Rowntree to get his Rowntree, whatever, to get his game plays into place, for the players to be adjusted. Munster at the moment look just dejected on the pitch, and they just look like they don't want to be there for whatever reason it is. I don't know. Healy is not a 10. Peter Manny is not firing for whatever reason. I don't know. Your front row is as we mentioned earlier, you're lacking in the front row. It's not great. You know, you come up against those strong South Africans and you're going to get fucking slaughtered. So look, it's going to take time for Munster to get there. Anyway, there you go. That's my tuppence worth.
That's why I said in previous videos. That's why I never judge a coach's first season, because I know whatever changes they want to do, it's going to take that season to get them in place. So
yeah,
I'll criticize them match to match, but until the end of the season, I'm not going to be firing pot shots right now. That any coach right now. That so.
Right. Okay.
Well, Peter, can I just add to it? Like, if Munster beat Bulls, brilliant. But at least if they have to bring the intensity that they brought before, and if they don't beat them, then at least if they show the intensity that they're well able to play at, you know, and they keep bringing it to those high levels of physicality and intensity, they will get there. And I think that's the kind of underdog. Or not the underdog. That's the kind of characteristic that Munster put there. It's all down to the transition. I think it has to be. It has to be. They're never this bad. They've never played this bad.
I'd agree somewhat with you, Sarah, and I think what you will see, and what we will all see at the weekend, Munster will bring that intensity because they're playing in Thomond Park. They're playing at home. They will do that. Now, whether that intensity will be enough to beat the Bulls, to put in a performance, to keep the fans happy, to, as Peter said, green shoots, if you're going to see it. I don't know, but it will be like Munster will show up, no doubt, because they're at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
But whether or not they win it is another question.
I think the Thomond Park crowd will get behind them. And all joking aside, I know I've been having a pop with the two boys there, but I think that the crowd in Thomond Park are going to lift them, and they will want to give a reaction, as Richard said. So yeah, I was joking earlier on. I do think it'll be a lot closer than that. Yeah, I hope Munster win. I really do.
Okay, very good. Just a couple of things before we wrap up, because I'm aware that we're approaching the 55 minute mark.
Peter,
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Women's World Cup.
Go for it.
I don't know if anyone has seen it, but England are playing great. New Zealand are playing amazing, and France are playing very good. I reckon your two finalists are coming out of them three. The game actually that's on this weekend on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, France play England. That's going to be a very good game, I would say.
Yeah, judging by the matches I saw from France versus England in the women's success, was it this year and last year? They're usually a fairly good cracking match. Anytime they get together, so it's going to be an instant one, regardless of the results. So,
Sarah Duffy, did you want to mention something about some other roundy?
Yeah, just on any other kind of business, to congratulate the women's soccer team who qualified for the World Cup last night, beating Scotland 1-0. Some great play and saves, and the penalty they had 12 minutes in, saved by Brosnan, and then obviously Amber Barrett from Donegal, who made tribute of her goal to the people of Creasla in Donegal. I mean, it was very moving, I think, for the whole country, and congratulations to the ladies who played brilliant soccer last night, from
Well
all
done,
of us.
ladies.
Very good.
Well done, ladies.
Okay, we will finish on this last point. I was going to, we've got to run out of time if I go into all this that we're going to talk about. We'll end up fucking boring the knickers off people. I was going to talk about Kitchoff to get your kid off, get Kitchoff to Ulster. Who's he going to replace? Eric O'Sullivan or Marty Moore, or is he going to be a bench player or what? Just briefly, folks, briefly. Danny Brosnan, we go around that way.
Ooh, I'd say he's been brought in because of the fact that they've released Jack McGrath during last season. So,
right,
if someone else leaves the view said that's with him, but see how it goes.
Okay, Sarah Duffy.
Very similar to what Danny said, actually. It's kind of like an open book, really. You just have to see how it goes. The whole Jack McGrath thing threw me a little bit, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, Claire Davy.
Yeah, just I wait and see what happens. I think it's for the same reason as the Danny and Sarah have said there.
Jack McGrath out the door and okay, fair enough. James Brennan.
He's a lad that was never called twice for the dinner anyway, that's for sure. He's a big unit. So we'll see how he slots in.
See how he slots in.
We'll have to see how he slots in,
Okay, Richard Holland.
He's the most Irish. He's the most Irish African I've ever seen.
Fucking right. Stephen O'Kitchoff.
Yeah, he's there to bring in extra oomph in the scrum. That's what he's there for, and especially with McGrath being released.
Right. Okay. Peter Martin.
Yeah, I'd say that's the same. I don't think the likes of O'Sullivan or there's a young Callum Ray, is that his name? He went on the Development Ireland, the Emerging Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's to replace them. It's just their basically competition, and obviously for a bit more oomph.
Yeah.
The scrum.
Okay, and finally we finish on this. Peter Martin, back to you. Did we learn anything from the Emerging Ireland tour?
Oh,
Jack Crowley, maybe.
There's probably 5 or 6 players. I'd say what we learned from it is that, going by what purely from the comments alone from some of the players, they've gotten out more. They've gotten something out of it to bring back to their provinces. And that could well manifest itself further down the road. As regards basically saying, right, have X, Y, Z players stood up and saying, right, they're going to be sitting on the bench or in the training squad for the November internationals. Very hard to say, I would say. But Stuart Moore and Osborne looked a very good combo. Jack Crowley definitely stood up. I said at the start of the season, he's a guy who has all the tools. He just needs to get game time and be lucky with injury. I think he could go all the way. Look, it's still very, very hard to say. Look, as I said, I think the critics of the tour probably underestimated the quality of coaching I think that these players can be subject to, which is above and beyond what's there possibly at some of the provinces. And I'd say that's because, like, even to quote John Hodnett, he has said he's learned so much from this tour. Like, you know, for the younger guys, certain players to come out and say openly they've a lot to bring back. That's huge. So just basically kind of watch this space with a lot of those players. Some of those players you won't see, you know, probably would never see again. But if half of that squad is knocking on the door, you know, if not for the World Cup next year, it'll be for the next cycle of players, because there were a bunch of kids that went. Like there was the two oldest players in the team were Frisch at 26, and I think there was someone else who's 26, but they're all kids. So just watch the space.
Okay, good point. As always, speak James Grannon.
Yeah, I'm keen to see what they do in the provinces when they come back, and see how they slot in. I'd say their confidence will be well up after that tour. And I think Crowley might have put his hand up for the replacement for Johnny.
Yes, he did.
He's young yet, of course, yeah, but he certainly. I don't recall his name being mentioned too much prior to this tour, but I think we've learned something there from that.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously looking forward to seeing what Cian Prendergast does now that he's had the captaincy. That should increase his confidence, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does as well when he's back in the other green.
Okay, good man, James. Richard Holland.
Yeah, Crowley was a standout one there for me. He's, as Peter said, he certainly seems to have all the tools. Now, whether he's able to develop and put everything A, B, C, D, and E together and push on is another thing, but he put his hand up for me anyway.
Right. Anyone else, Richard, that stood out for you?
Ahern I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
He brings everything. He's actually deceptively quick when you look at him. He's a good line out operator. He's big, he's strong. So he'd be another one for me as well that I'm definitely going to be watching.
Okay, Claire Devney.
I think Crowley done very well. It's a shame that Frawley didn't go down, because that would have been good, nice to see Frawley down there to see if he is the backup for Johnny. That's basically just to reiterate what the other ones say. Let's see when they come back. Let's not put too much pressure on them now. Let's see when they come back and they go back into their provinces, and how they play, and that it done them good. Don't start heaping too much pressure on them. They're young.
Yeah.
They're young. They're living their dream. They're playing the game they love. Yes, they want to get into the Ireland short, but let them play the game first, and then.
But I was thinking though, Claire, Frawley and Max Deegan went on that tour. Surely they're not emerging Ireland players. No, yeah, no.
If they're arguing for Frawley, Max Deegan perhaps not.
No, Frawley was in New Zealand.
I know, but
I know, but like, why would you have Frawley and Deegan, the likes of them, on an emerging Ireland team?
Well, Deegan would be far more established, shall we say, at Leinster even. But yeah, you could make that argument. But
I think Deegan, because he was injured, to give him game time, because he was injured so long.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Richard. Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, 3 wins from 3, and there was some great tries, and it was a massive good and a learning experience, and really good for them all. Ahern, Prendergast, and Crowley stood out for me throughout the whole tour. You know, Ireland were on the back foot in a lot of those matches, but they defended brilliantly, and they kind of managed the couple of yellow cards and stuff they got and stuff, and that's all part of the kind of learning experience and the mantra of rugby. You know, the criticism and of the commentary, oh Christ, it was kind of grating at some stage. You know, it was using illegal tactics and all this regarding the offside and the time wasting and stuff. Oh my Jesus, stop it. You know, they were moaning about 4 players being down at one stage. I think, I don't know which game it was, but the game was still carrying on. Do you know what I mean? And that's what the commentary was. That kind of put me off a lot of it. But the last match, I think, was the better game because they were a bigger opponent, and it put it up to them. You know, having the likes of Pienaar and stuff playing against, he was a big dog. You know, and I thought it was a great learning experience for them. But those 3, Ahern, Prendergast and Crowley, stood out for me. And I think he'd be the one chomping at the heels of Johnny Sexton, Crowley.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Frawley is going to take time to get better, you know, recover and all the rest of it. But yeah, 100% behind him.
Okay, totally agree with you, Sarah. Absolutely. Danny Brosnan.
Saw the highlights of the 3 games, right? In reference to Deegan being out there, I think when last time the Emerging Ireland team was playing, Billy Holland was introduced was part of that squad as well. But I think he was kind of like the older lad, maybe the kind of a leadership with experienced head for a lot of the players. So that's probably why Deegan was partially probably included. I heard Crowley have been very good even when they're playing with the under-20s. Was a year or 2 ago. They really showed that they had an awful lot of potential. I think they showed that in the Emerging Ireland tour as well. But I think it was a huge learning experience for them, those young lads, and which is part of the reason why I'm kind of for the Ireland Wolfhounds and stuff like that. Being there for players like that, it's getting out of the province and learning those extra little bits and pieces about them they can bring back to the province and to their teammates, and maybe shove everyone on that little bit more. So hopefully they get that bit more time now to prove themselves. Hopefully they get to showcase what they've learned as well at the provincial level, and the few players that can get the green jersey, I hope they do enjoy it down the line, right? Hopefully no player gets any trouble with injuries, right, and like that. But I think even it was Doak as well. He's good enough for the time he did. So Doak and Crowley could be a very good combination maybe down the line as well. So hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Peter Martin, we're way over 50.
Yeah.
Sorry, Danny. Do you want to finish there, or were you going to say something? Sorry, Danny. Sorry, I cut you off. Sorry, my apologies. Did you want to finish something there, Danny? Or no?
He needs to burn that jersey.
Right. Okay.
Peter,
yes.
Can we give a shout out to the former women's captain, Ciara Griffin, who has done unbelievably well in the Ultimate Hell Week? Like, it's pure grit and strength, and she's been complimented by her other comrades or whatever they are on the Ultimate Hell Week. Like, she's just putting in a Trojan effort, and fair play to her. There's a lot of people that wouldn't do what she did, and she is coming up trumps over some of those other lads there as well. So
did she win it? Or did she win it, or what? Or is it
I don't know. It's on. It's actually on now while we're chatting.
Sorry.
I
Okay.
Recorded, so I know she did very well last week. And she's hanging in there as one of only 2 females there. So Billy Holland and Fergus McFadden are there as well.
Actually, the other woman is a Kerry woman as well. There's 2 Kerry women. Yeah. But Griffin, sure, she's a fair beef farmer from Ballymacalligan, so there's plenty of toughness there. There's plenty of hardness there, you know. Dealing with all that farm work, it toughens you. Builds character, I tell you.
I'll tell you what.
God, she's unbelievable.
Danny, you'll have to get your red jersey for the weekend.
Yeah, there you go. Peter Martin, are we way over 50, Peter?
We're way over 50, Peter.
Yeah, all right. Okay, well, listen, folks.
Not an echo.
Okay. Folks, we'll wrap it up. My thanks to, as always, to Danny Brosnan, Sarah Duffy, Claire Debney, James Grennan, Richard Holland, Peter Martin, and one of these, one of you, I meant to say, will be hosting next week. I am relinquishing. We're doing the rotation thing again, so we're starting again. So Danny, Sarah, Claire,
Is it me?
whoever
Sarah.
Sarah Duffy has been nominated to host next
You know
week.
what you should do? Do you know what you should do, Peter? Get a wheel with everybody's name on it, spin it, and whoever turns up doing it.
I will.
Maybe
Okay.
always end up on me or something. I won't be drugged off my face on painkillers next week. I mean, next
Oh,
week.
damn that. You're so much fun tonight, Sarah, and you're half wired.
Look, and I brought my voice.
Okay,
I'm Sarah, and I'm out my face.
I'll be drunk next week.
Fucking dropping a few yolks, you know. Fucking A. Anyway, go on the fuck.
I'm a professional drug dealer, thanks very much, in a pharmacy.
I'm sure he's are.
Oh
my God, I can't hit the fucking end button, which is fucking shut up the fucking lot of you. Good luck. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.